Welcome everybody to the Queen of TV channel. Some quick things first before we get into the episode. One, please watch the episode to the very end. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Second, there will be cursing and profanity. If that's not your cup of tea, this channel is not for you. Lastly, I will be giving my honest opinion about the episode and the show as a whole. So without further ado, let's get into the intro. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, the Queen herself, and you are the Prince and Princesses. You're either a viewer or a subscriber. Either way, welcome. Today, we're talking about H2O, Season 2, Episode 4, Ice and Fire. Or, no, Fire and Ice. So, hopefully, I can remember this whole episode after watching it again. But we start the episode off with all three girls swimming in the water, and they go to Mako Island. Emma brings up that her parents are leaving for the whole weekend, which is like literally 2 days. So she wants to know if Rikki and Cleo will come and stay the whole weekend with her. Cleo can't because she has to babysit Kim because her dad is working. Rikki at first didn't want to because she would have to sit in her gym jams like it was a sleepover, but she quickly changed her mind when she realized the benefits of staying at Emma's house. Emma's not too happy about this because Cleo is the one that thinks that this is a good idea. Her and Rikki can stay because she can't stay. I mean, I don't know what Emma expected Will to do, because if she stays, she got to bring Kim with her, and Elliot and Kim can't share a room. So we see that Lewis is on his boat, and he's approached by Nate, who says that Lewis has a lot of free time now that him and Cleo broke up, and how it was a good thing because he doesn't look manly enough anymore ever since hanging out with three girls. This is obviously a trick from Nate because he has alternative motives, and I will get to that in my review. But he tries to make it sound like that Lewis has become very feminine. Lewis denies this, and he ends up getting a paper cut, and Nate makes fun of him about the fact that he's upset about getting a paper cut. I mean, like, anybody can get a damn paper cut and say ouch. Like, I don't that doesn't matter if you're a woman or a female. Everybody acts like this. It's got nothing to do with being feminine and manly. So he talks to Cleo about it, and Cleo says that the reason why they broke up is because she does not have time for a boyfriend. Her life is too complicated. Lewis asks her, is that the only reason? No, because the other reason is because she's still dealing with the fact of being a mermaid. She has not got over that. Like I said in the previous season, that's what her and Gracie had in common. But Cleo tells him what else is there, and he brings up the fact that it's because he wasn't man enough for her. Cleo thinks this is utterly ridiculous, and I do too. Like, why would that matter? She's trying to fold this towel, so he folds it for her, and she's actually surprised that he knew how to do that, and she actually asked him how he did it because hers was like a mess. Lewis gets weird and says that he learned that from doing other manly things while sailing on a boat, and leaves. So he goes to Nate that he wants to teach him karate because he sees Nate do karate in front of all these girls. I'm just going to just say it for what it is because I ain't went to the review. This fucking man can't do no damn karate. This shit that he was trying to do makes no fucking sense. And this is coming from somebody that's seen Cobra Kai for a little bit before I stopped watching because I had too much going on in my life. But also, like, I've seen Karate Kid. This fool don't know nothing about no damn karate. And, like, in one of their training montages, Lewis brings up the fact that he feels like Bruce Lee. And I know Bruce Lee would be ashamed if he was still alive and he was seeing this. This ain't no karate. This is a bunch of kicking, screaming, and punching. Like, what kind of karate is this? Your posture is all wrong, too, for karate. But Nate shows Lewis a bit of demonstration, which is some fucking nonsense. Lewis does the same thing and embarrasses himself in front of these girls. These girls are dumb as a box of fucking rocks. These women don't know shit about no fucking karate. They need to go on some fucking word. They just want to look at some man show off his damn muscles. Like, go find somebody else. Go get a date. Like, y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. He so Nate decides that he's going to train Lewis on how to do karate. It goes as by as well as you think. We go back to Emma's house where she's serving her family something to drink. Ellie's in the back doing something else. Rikki asks when they're leaving. They say they're leaving the first thing that morning, and Rikki brings up throwing a party. Now I skipped over this a little bit, but earlier after Rikki agreed to go to Emma's house, she brought her bags and stuff over, and Emma had said at the moon pool that her mom like collecting these different arts and type of antiques. And she showed her one of them. It's like a big giant dolphin next to a fishbowl. Rikki thought it was hideous, and she thought it was funny. Emma's mom did. Well, when Rikki brought up about them squeezing a party in for the next 2 days, they both thought it was funny, which is Emma's father Neil and her mother Lisa. Rikki even called Lisa by her actual first name in this episode instead of Mrs. Gilbert, and they kind of just read it off. So they're basically not taking Rikki seriously because they don't actually think she's gonna do any of this stuff. Um, like she did earlier when Rikki said that her sculpture that she had looked hideous. So Emma's not amused though. And the next day, the bathroom is a complete mess, and the kitchen is a mess. There's crap everywhere. Rikki obviously is making a mess. Ellie and her are cooking, even making a bigger mess. And Emma's just disgusted. And as she's going upstairs, she overhears Elliot say that he wished that his sister was cool like this. And this obviously affects Emma because, like Emma said in season 1, episode 6, she may be tough, but she is easily hurt. So this did hurt her that her brother would say something like this, especially after the previous episode. So we see Nate and Lewis do this training exercise they're doing. They're running, and Nate casually mentions like, what does Cleo like? So is she like a sporty girl? And Lewis like, nah, she's a girly girl. She like chocolates and flowers. So next thing we know, Cleo does get these things in the episode, and it becomes very clear and obvious that Nate only did this to keep Lewis busy. So I had not connected the two situations that involve this, but I will talk about that in the review. But yeah, Nate's trying to make moves on Cleo. Cleo finds Emma at the island where she's inside the moon pool, kind of sulking, and she brings the fact about what has been happening at their house. And Cleo tells her maybe she should let her hair down a little bit. She takes offense to that and thinks that Cleo is sided with Rikki and that she's not a rebel, so she's going to prove them wrong. Cleo goes home where she finds out that someone had bought her some flowers and wrote on the card, which she read out loud to her sister and her brother could hear. I mean, and her sister and father could hear. Cleo doesn't have a brother. She says that the card reads as follows: for the hottest girl in the town. Her dad's like, who on earth would send that? So Cleo is confused. And we see that when Rick and Ellie get home, Cleo is not Cleo, Emma. I'm getting confused. There's so much going on in this episode. Emma ends up sitting at home, chilling, eating chips and pizza and stuff, just slacking out, trying to be a rebel. She's trying too hard. So Elliot asks what's for dinner, and Emma says she's eating it. They can do what they want. And Rikki said they will. Emma's kind of bummed out. Her plan didn't work because she tried to show off how rebel she is, and they didn't notice. So we then cut back to Lewis and Nate again, where they're learning karate, they're exercising, all that kind of stuff, and it's just ridiculous, really. Um, that's when Lewis actually brings up the Bruce Lee comment in these scenes. So we go back to Emma's house where her and Rikki talk, and Rikki notices real quick that Emma's trying to be a rebel, and she tells Emma, "You can't be a rebel." She even dares her to throw a pillow on the floor. Emma doesn't do it. She does, however, do it when Rikki leaves, trying to show some act of defiance with nobody in the room. So we go to Juice Net Cafe where Kim, Elliot, and Cleo are with Rikki, and Rikki brings up to Cleo about Emma trying to be a rebel, and Cleo thinks it's her fault because she told Emma to let her hair down. This is where Wilfred shows up and gives Cleo some chocolates. Cleo thinks it's Lewis, but Lewis is confused about the chocolates, and Rikki realizes real quick that it's not Lewis, which leaves Cleo even more confused because she has no idea who is sending her these gifts. And I think it's starting to creep her out a bit. And so when we get back to the house where the four of them go, they find out that Emma's throwing a party with a bunch of girls who actually turned to be her swim team. And one of her future co-workers, Amber, who starts working at Juice Net Cafe in episode... What episode was that? Hold on, give me a second. Episode 14. We see her in episode 14. She might have been shown before that, but she suggests that they invite a bunch of boys, and this is where the fucking chaos starts because they started having food and drinks all over the floor. They started just making a lot of noise, playing music. It was a bunch of strangers, and Emma tried to act like it wasn't such a big deal. Well, Lewis goes to Nate where he wants to confront the guy and actually fight the guy that's been sending Cleo gifts. And we see Nate make a face. Obviously, he's the guy. So he convinces Lewis not to and get back to training while he goes to the party that he was invited to by somebody. And when he shows up, he's like bringing a bunch of people with him, even more guys, and he tries to show off in front of Cleo, who does not give a fuck nor is impressed with whatever karate he's trying to show off. We also see that Emma invited Charlotte to this party, who tells Rikki that it's a nice party. Now, I did make a comment under a video about, like I said in the previous episode, about the Charlotte and Cleo diary thing, where I said that Rikki and Charlotte never even had a conversation, nor like met each other. But actually, I had forgotten that she was in this episode, and she did say something to Rikki, but Rikki didn't say anything bad to her. She just did that. So we see Emma trying to clean up the mess and everything, and Rikki tells her she should cancel that party, but she refuses. Now, this is where Nate tells Cleo that he was the one that sent her those gifts. Cleo is very not impressed and very taken aback. And she says she's speechless, and he tries to go in and kiss her, saying that maybe the time for talking is over, and it is just disgusting. Thank God Lewis walked in and figured it out, and he confronted Nate. Cleo is confused. Lewis tells Cleo it has nothing to do with her, but it's about her. It is about her, and it does have something to do with her. Because Nate's whole reason as to why he tried to make Lewis think he wasn't manly was so he could sneak around to get with Cleo. But they end up trying to fight. Child, this fight was pathetic. It, it was pathetic. So Emma accidentally end up getting wet because Nate opens a can of soda and tries to spray it all over Lewis, and she has to run to the bathroom and hide. Cleo tries to convince Lewis and Nate that she don't want to be fought over because she's still confused about what the hell is going on. And so the fight ends up stopping when they accidentally break the antique that Lisa had showed Rikki earlier. Because Rikki does say she's going to go downstairs and stop this party. Emma tells her not to, and Emma finally confesses to Rikki after Rikki tells her what is she trying to prove, that she wants to prove that she's not boring. She can have fun too. And by the time Rikki tells everybody to get out, um, Emma and Elliot's parents show back up. So Lisa and Neil think that Emma had nothing to do with this party thing. It's Rikki, because obviously, yes, Rikki's the only one that's been acting out basically and said that she would throw a party with Emma. But Emma confessed that it was actually her. She tried to prove a point. We find out at the end she gets grounded for like 2 weeks. But Cleo meets Lewis at the Juice Snack Cafe where he kicked that healthy diet. And Cleo says that Lewis was not her boyfriend because she thought he was tough. She was his boyfriend because he was a great guy. She says you were a great guy. She's not saying like he never was or isn't anymore. She's trying to say that when they were together, it was because he was a great guy. For anybody that took that out of context. But she did correct herself and said, "You are a great guy," which makes him smile. And it was a sweet moment. But you can tell through that moment they still love each other and they still want to be together. And they're not trying to move on, which is the whole point. They're only in a temporary breakup, basically what this is. So the show probably was always going to put them back together, but at some point they must have changed their mind. I'm not sure, and I'll explain why I think like that when we get to that Pacific episode. So Emma's telling the girls, yeah, like I said a little bit ago, that she got grounded for 2 weeks, and it's because her parents thought she was a rebel. Cleo and Rikki know this ain't true. It's because she threw a party. And they laugh. But the episode ends on a happy note. Okay, before we talk about Nate, let's get some things out the way. I love the sweet moment that Lewis and Cleo had. Like I said, I agree with the breakup. I'm glad that they're trying to be friends again, but still care about each other at the same time. And I do believe that the show did try to previously put them together, but they at some point must have changed their minds. Or at least they tried to insinuate it. Because when he was dating Charlotte, it is clear and obvious they had showed plenty of scenes where Lewis and Cleo kept having these moments of that they were still boyfriend and girlfriend after he was already with Charlotte. That's why I'm saying that. And the episode that I'm referring to, that I've said I'm going to get into, is literally episode 14, like not even episode 14. It's not just that one. It's actually multiple episodes. Episode 16 is one of them, which it is clearly, obviously apparent to me that that was supposed to be Cleo and Lewis on a date. And they just used Elliot and Kim as a cover up. But that was a date. So that was nice. I understand why Emma was so hard on Rikki at the beginning because let's be honest here. Rikki was a terrible house guest. She had trash, garbage, toothpaste, a bunch of food and stuff all over the house. She was very disrespectful for calling Emma's mother out, like calling her by her first name when she should have said Mrs. Gilbert because she is an adult and her elder. Also, Rikki was just not a very good house guest. Now, I'm not saying that it makes how Emma was acting right, but I see why Emma was acting like this. And I think it did bother her that Elliot was like saying that to Rikki. And yes, no, Rikki did not correct him. But I don't hate Emma in this episode. And I don't think she was being very controlling. I just think that Rikki was being inconsiderate. Um, Now let's talk about Nate. Nate, Lewis, and Elliot is now going to be talked about because now we have confirmation on something. When there were comments or a comment, I think I can't remember how many it was that was saying that Elliot was being a sexually assaultive or predatory towards Rikki, and I said he wasn't. Nate has proved my point. Matter of fact, he will prove my point multiple times in this season. Nate is the textbook example of a sexual assault predator. He has made and will make multiple inappropriate sexual comments towards the girls throughout this season. The issue is that it is played for laughs. It is believed that Nate is a comic relief character, while at the same time doing fucked up, disgusting shit like this. When he goes in to kiss Cleo, she slowly is backing away from him as he's about to force himself onto her. This will not be the first time that he tries to get himself onto her, because she has to tell him multiple times, along with Emma and Rikki, who also have been that he has been predatory towards, the same thing, even while they're in relationships, and he still continues to do it. It is not funny, nor is it acceptable. He is not a comic relief character. He is the textbook example of a sexual assaultive predator. What Nate is doing is disgusting. We see this in episode 24 of season 1 of H2O when he tells Cleo to wear something short and tight. He is referring to the fact that he wants Cleo to wear like some type of cocktail dress or a short enough dress where you can see the shape of her bottom and you can look up her dress. Just because he is a teenager and it's played up as laughs and he is a damn goofball and a moron at that, it is to not be taken seriously. Whether that be by the damn show itself, which may be true or not, or the fandom, which is definitely true, as I have discovered that Nate has a bunch of fans. I do not understand why somebody can like this character. I do not understand why anybody thinks that this shit is okay and cool. The comments that said that Elliot was a sexual assault predator and it needs to be put a stop to it, they need to be looking at Nate, because that's exactly what his character is. He is a predator. He literally only cares about Emma, Cleo, and Rikki as sexual objects. He does not care about their personalities. He does not care about who they are as people. All he cares about is how good they look and how good they'll look with him. And he continues to do this even after they tell him no, and it makes him uncomfortable numerous of times. It is not cute. I don't know why the hell it is over fucking looked. I don't understand why the fandom is not taking it seriously and calling Nate out on this. This is not funny. I don't think this is funny, and he's not a comic relief character. He is one of those characters that should have not existed in this show. But that just proves to you that H2O is not for kids. Because if it was for kids, someone like Nate would not exist. But he does. So it's not for children. To be honest, I believe in my heart of hearts that H2O and Mako Mermaids combined has at least 17 different adult themes in it. But it is listed under as a fucking TV show for kids because it appeared on Nickelodeon. Even though there was some questionable shit that happened behind the scenes of Nickelodeon that is not adult friendly or kid friendly, but is adult friendly because it was kids doing adult type shit that kids should have not been doing. So, with that being said, I want to know how the actor felt when they had him play this fucking character. Because I doubt he was thrilled about being Nate. Or maybe like everybody else, he either didn't notice, didn't care, or for him, it was just a job and he did it and he went home. Bear in mind you, they were all teenagers when they played these characters. He wasn't an adult. But facts are facts. And that is all I'm going to say about it because it will not be the first time I bring it up. But with that being said, what do you think about this episode? Do who y'all think was in the right? Emma or Rikki? Do y'all like the Clueless moments that they're giving us? And last but not least, do you think compared to Lewis and Nate and Elliot being more of a hero complex looker, and this will be the last time I bring up Elliot in this from season 1. Do you see Lewis as controlling? Which I mean, in the sense of that how he was acting in episode 2. And do you think that Nate is the sexual assaulter? What sandwich or term would you put all 3 boys in? Because that's the term I put them in. No, I don't think that Lewis would have been domestic abusive Cleo. He would have been not manipulative, but he would have been controlling. But I still don't think he would have been full blown domestic abuse. Also, Elliot, still same thing. Don't think it's sexual assault. I think that he was in more so he became delulu about why Rikki saved his life and his emotional state and his mind was not in the right place at the time. And of course, he almost died. The oxygen obviously left his brain that day. Nate, there is no excuse. Nate is a sexual predator. He is a sexual predator. Ain't no way somebody watching his episodes not thinking that this stuff he's doing is amazing, cool, funny, or awesome. But if you do, you need to go to therapy. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the content. Again, let me know what you guys think. Do y'all really think that Nate was a sexual abuser at all? Um, the episodes that I want you guys to look at is not only just episode 4, but also check out episode 15. And there is this one episode in season 3 where the new mermaid, Bella, he tries to make moves on her as well, and she shoots him down. So, yeah. But let me know what you guys think. If no one's told you this today, I love you guys. Have a blessed day. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you guys in the next one because you know it's not the last time we'll see each other. So until then, bye guys.